Miss Mattie, people often say that black women are the base of the Democratic Party, and if it wasn't for black women, we wouldn't get Democrats elected. So black women have always showed up for the Democratic Party.
That's true.
What is it that Democrats need to do to show up for black women?
Keep their promise. They make a lot of promises when they're running. That's number one. Number two, let us tell you what the problem is, not you tell us what you're going to do for us, because you don't know us. We know us. And I find that a lot of people do that. You know, they got a solution to a problem they think is number one for us, when that's not really it.
I honestly believe all endorsements from politicians and entertainers should be taken with a grain of salt. But now a personal endorsement from Mama Mattie, well, now that's something different entirely. To serve someone food has long been considered a sign of affection, particularly in the South, where the more someone feeds you, the higher regard they hold you. So it was telling when Mattie Thomas, co-chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party's Black Women Caucus, showed up to Tom Steyer's campaign headquarters with a homemade pound cake. The simple act of feeding the campaign's team showed that her support for Steyer goes far beyond the politics of endorsement, and that it comes from a genuine affection for the candidate and a sincere belief that he will keep his promises to put our country back into the hands of the people, empower underserved communities, and restore integrity to the White House.
Mattie, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for taking time to sit down with me. I just got the news that you have endorsed a candidate.
Well, I gave my personal endorsement to Tom Steyer.
Okay. Miss Mattie, why Tom?
Well, me and Tom had a personal conversation. First thing, before he even come out the box, I think, to run, he called me one day and we had a personal conversation. And you can learn more about a person when you have that one-on-one conversation versus listen to what's being said on the debate stage. So it gives you a little bit more insight to who that person is. And it was personal. It went from how he grew up, his parents, to his business, to why he decided to run.
Okay. Ms. Mattie, what are some of the Tom's platform issues that actually spoke to you?
Climate change, term limits, women's rights, and his personal investment in the community he would serve as president, whether it be Main Street or rural areas of South Carolina.
Okay. Ms. Mattie, you're very active in the South Carolina Democratic Party. Can you tell me a little bit about your activities and things that you've done inside the party and to advance African American politics in South Carolina?
Well, when I see something that maybe needs to be addressed, such as Black Women Caucus, right? I feel like we have a right to step up and see what we can do about it and speak out on the issues. You give us a platform where we can speak out on issues specifically to black women. Things that it's almost like a little sisterhood. Mm-hmm. Things that we can say to one another, give ideas to one another. If people decide to run, we'll be back there, their backbone of that organization, any type of thing, even whether it's a business operation or whatever. We are there for all the sisters. You know, we're there for everybody, because it's just not limited to black women, right? But our issues are forefront, you know. And we the women that can address it. We've been out there a long time, long time, even since the civil rights movement. We've been out there doing the back work, behind the scenes a lot of the time, right? So now we just in the forefront.
Okay. Miss Mattie, People often say that black women are the base of the Democratic Party, and if it wasn't for black women, we wouldn't get Democrats elected. So black women have always showed up for the Democratic Party.
That's true.
What is it that Democrats need to do to show up for black women?
Keep their promise. They make a lot of promises when they're running. That's number one. Number two, let us tell you what the problem is, not you tell us what you're going to do for us, because you don't know us. We know us. And I find that a lot of people do that. You know, they got a solution to a problem they think is number one for us, when that's not really it. So they need to listen more and let us tell them what our issues are, not you fixing something thinking that's our issue and it's not.
Okay. Miss Mattie, it's my understanding that you've never endorsed a candidate before.
Personally.
But you've broke with tradition and endorsed Tom. Tell me a little bit how you came to that decision.
Okay. First thing was take the being out the equation, because this is about money. DNC made it about money, okay? So let's just take that billionaire word out of it, right? And look at his record. And look what he did. He's not talking about what I'm gonna do. He can tell you some of the things he's already done, such as the banks for minorities. He's been talking about climate change for 10 years and how he got his top priority. He said when he seen the younger generation needed a platform, he gave them that platform and ensured that he got them all out to vote. It changed 2016. So we talk about work he has done, not what I will do or plan to do this or plan to do the other one. So this is something he had done already. And he invested in our community. That's on record. If you invest in our community, that sort of puts you up there a little notch or two, okay? And that's some of the things I'll ask about it. And term limits. I believe in term limits. Because you stay somewhere too long, you get complacent. And I think a lot of our people have become complacent.
Ms. Mattie, as African Americans, Democrats, and especially in South Carolina, what do you feel is the number one issue facing our community here in South Carolina?
Jobs, and then jobs. Then housing. And when I say job with a wage, a living wage to it. People cannot make it off what they're working for now, right? They just can't. And housing. After these last two storms, some places look like third world countries in South Carolina. Really do look like third world countries. And as rich as this country is, why is that? Why is it? That's what I'm wondering about. Why is that? And then, if you have to work 3 jobs, who go lacking if you're a parent? Your children go lacking. Well, if you just had one job and you could focus on that one job and come home, then that would be better for the community, because you wouldn't have so many kids with nothing to do, no time on their hand, no guidance, at all. And that would decrease maybe some of the problems we have in our neighborhood as well. Okay? School. Better schools. It's a shame that we still in that school down there in the Hall of Shame. It's still open. Why is that? We need a better investment in our younger people. We need better investment in our younger people. And I'm from a small town. We have a boys club. That's great. But what about the 17 and 19-year-olds? What kind of activities for this? That's what we need to focus on.
Okay. And Ms. Mattie, you laid out those top issues for African Americans in South Carolina. And it is your sincere belief that Tom Steyer is the candidate to tackle those issues? Right.
And the one thing I forgot was health care. Everybody have a right to have access to health care. We don't have it here. Hospitals are closing. People have to ride long ways to get health care. And that's another thing. We need health care. And we have a plan. Just need to be tweaked a little bit. That's all. Social Security is nowhere like it started out. Medicaid is nowhere like it started out. Medicare. Every year somebody fixed something that wasn't a part of it and fix another part that wasn't a part of it. I don't want to hear about 50 more plans. I want to fix what we got and make it work for everybody.
With healthcare being a big issue, and especially an issue that everybody's talking about on the ballot, Tom has a unique approach to healthcare, and basically Tom is saying that we can't get the healthcare we need till we get big business out of healthcare, corporations out, and that's the only way to get our the healthcare that we deserve as citizens. Do you agree with that statement?
That's correct, because as a diabetic, I'm paying $200 for one insulin. Okay, and why is that? Why is that? You work all your life, and it's okay, Medicare, this and that and the other, you pay that. Then when you really need it, it's not there. It's not there, and I'm not the only one that's facing that. A whole lot more people is facing that. Why is it that we supposed to be world leaders and we can't give everybody health care? We're not leading on that. So if we get big pharma and a few more people out of health care, then it'll be all right. You know, to me it will be. Because prices will come down and people can afford the medicine. You know, something that costs $10 in Canada is $200 in the United States. That's crazy. It can't be. It's the same identical thing. It's just from one country to another one. And that's what we must look at and get that fixed.